Welcome back to Applied Algebra. We are moving on in Chapter 10. In Section 4, we covered multiplying special products. So this section is just the opposite of that. We are undoing those special products or factoring them. So the examples that you see here, factoring perfect square trinomials, those were the first examples that we showed in the last section, and you can see their patterns there. So to help you recognize if they are a special factor, first thing you have to be able to do is make sure that you have things that are squares. So remember how to undo a square, and to undo that we square root. So x squared is a square. If we square root it, we get x. X to the fourth is a square. If we undo it, we get x squared, because we're splitting those 4 into two groups of 2. If we square root x to the 8th, y to the 10th, that's a square, because we can split it in half, so it's x to the 4th, y to the, should be 5th, I just realized, that's a typo. This should be to the 5th. So I'll have to get that fixed. So we're going to undo these. So to help us recognize them, we're going to see if there are square roots. So looking at 9x squared, can I square root that? Square root of 9 is 3. Square root of x squared is x. So far so good. I'm going to come to the end and square root that. That's a 5. Now, remember the middle is 2 times the product of those. So what is 2 times 3x times 5? 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 5 is 30. That's 30x. So this is that middle term. So this is a perfect square trinomial. So what we now know is the first term is 3x, the second term is 5, because my first sign is a plus, this is a plus, and it's a square. So I'm undoing that pattern. So if we go to the next one, we have to do the same process to check it out. So we're going to square root x squared. That's easy, that's x. Square root 36, that's 6. Now check out the middle. 2 times x times 6. 2 times 6 is 12. 12 times x is 12x. So we're good to go. So the first term is x. The second term is 6. The sign is the front sign, which is a minus. Now we're going to look at this example 3. If you tried to square root it right now, you could do that. But what would happen is when you get to this answer, you're not totally factored. So what you want to make sure you do is, do they have anything in common first? 4, 24, and 36 are all divisible by 4. So really the first thing I want to do is take out that 4. So it's x squared plus 6xy plus 9y squared. Okay, now I'm going to see if it's a perfect square trinomial. Square root of x squared is x. Square root of 9y squared, square root of 9 is 3. Square root of y squared is y. Checking the middle, 2 times x times 3y. 2 times 3 is 6xy. It does match. So my first term is x. My second term is 3y. And my middle sign is the plus, and I can't forget that I took out the 4 in the beginning. So this is my answer. Now, I'm going to take a second and show you what would have happened if I wouldn't have done that first. So I'm going to rewrite it here. 4x squared plus 24x plus 36y squared. So if I go straight to square rooting, square root of 4x squared is 2x. Square root of 36y squared is 6y. 2 times 2x times 6y. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 6 is 24x, and I forgot my y. So it worked. So this answer would have been 2x plus 6y squared. See how they're different? What's happened is this is a square, this is factored, but it's not completely factored because the 2x and the 6 have something in common. They have a 2 in common. And so I'd still have to pull the 2 out, but I have to make sure because it's squared, 2 squared becomes 4. So you want to try and take that out in the beginning so it'll make life easier later on. Now those perfect square trinomials, that was just part of what we did in 10.4. The other part of what we did was the difference of squares. So here was the original, a plus b times a minus b. We practiced, we put them together, we always ended up with a binomial. We're going to check it. If this is working, the sign will always be a minus sign. So I can go ahead and check for squares. Square root of x squared is x. Square root of 4 is 2. And because it's a minus sign, I know it is. So it's an x and a 2, and an x and a 2 because they're the same. One's a plus and one's a minus. And if I wanted to, I could go ahead and do each with each and push it back through to check and make sure it's right. So I'm going to go ahead and try that on the next one. Square root of 1 is 1. Square root of 36y to the 4th square root of 36 is 6. If we split y to the 4th into two groups, we get y squared. And it's a minus sign in the middle. Since it's a minus sign in the middle, it is what I'm looking for. So it's 6y squared and 1 and 6y squared. One's a plus, one's a minus. Now I notice right away they both are 81 and 9 are divisible by 9. So before I get too carried away, I want to go ahead and divide by 9. So I'm taking out that 9. I end up with 9y squared minus 1. So always take that out first. Now I'm going to check for squares. Square root of 9 is 3. Square root of y squared is y. Square root of 1 is 1, and there is a minus sign. So it is 3y and 1, 3y and 1, one's a plus, one's a minus, but I can't forget that I originally took out the 9, so I need to make sure I carry it over. Sorry about that. So go ahead and work on your assignment. Let me know if you have any questions, and have a good day.